What about now?
Yep.
Oh, good. Well, welcome everybody. I forgot to push the record button, so this is me doing that over again. All right, there we go. Woo! Everybody can see that, right?
Yes.
All right. So I made this a little different. And when I say your favorite food, your favorite meal, or the favorite time to eat, I'm really talking about not thinking about external things. I'm talking about even in your past life, whatever it was that you really enjoyed when it came to food. Like what I would say is my favorite food. I know I doubt my favorite food has changed. It's the fact that I don't eat it anymore. My favorite food, I had several favorite foods, and one was the snowballs that have coconut and the chocolate inside. I love those. Key lime pie. Yeah, I would sit there and excuse myself till the whole thing was gone, saying it was going to be gone anyway. And chocolate covered cherries. I used to get them. I only had them at Christmas time, but I'd eat the top layer, and I'd say, "Oh, might as well eat the bottom layer." So I really want you to go to that place. And then my favorite meal has always been Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite meal. And my favorite time to eat, I enjoy breakfast. My favorite place to eat is at home. And that's it. So that's what I would do with that. Now, if somebody else has a different idea of what to do with that, go ahead. But go ahead. Let's start. Who's first?
I'm still thinking.
Well, I had to do it on the fly. Tony, you can do it, can't you? You're muted, I guess.
I can go.
Oh, go ahead, Don.
All right. My favorite food is watermelon. My favorite meal is occasionally we have this for Christmas or Thanksgiving, and that would be grape leaves, dibby hummus, and baba ganoush. My favorite time to eat is breakfast and dinner because that's when I can eat with others. My favorite place to eat is at home. Let's see what order I'm going to do the next two. What I'm most grateful for today is my God-given brain and to know what I know. What I would like to share most tonight is doctors not necessarily know what the heck they're talking about, and you cannot just listen to what they say. I've had an extremely frustrating day with a moron of a doctor. So,
what happened?
Well, Joey went with me, and they wanted me to go on blood pressure medication a month ago or 3 weeks ago, which I got the medicine because I take my blood pressure myself a couple times a day, but it was pretty good, so I didn't take the blood pressure medicine. So my blood pressure came way down, and he's like, okay, well, it's working. Keep taking the medicine every day. Don't take it. So then he wanted me to go on an anti-anxiety medication. Well, I threw a stinking fit, and my son was afraid that he wouldn't give me my other medication if I keep fucking not doing what he said. So Joey piped up and said she'll take it. So we got the prescription. I said if the prescription costs over $5, I am not getting it filled. Well, the pharmacist made it so that it was only $7, so my son got it filled. And when he got home, he read the pamphlet. And I'm like, okay, this is a depression medication, not an anti-anxiety medication. And it says the top side effect is it causes anxiety, swelling in the throat and neck, nausea, hives. Well, I told the doctor I don't want to take any new medicine because every time I do take a medicine, I break out in hives, I get a headache, I get pains in my stomach. I don't want to take it. He wouldn't listen, and I got it filled just to shut him up. And my son he was furious because I had blood work done, and I was only low in two things, sodium and potassium. And it says on the medication, if you're low in sodium or potassium, let your doctor know because you can't take this medicine. Well, he
Jesus.
the blood work. Why do I have to tell him it's low and I shouldn't take this medicine? He's the moron that prescribed the drug. He should know if I'm low in potassium and sodium, I shouldn't take it. So,
Is this the first time you've had an experience like this with the doctor?
no, same doctor I've been fighting with. It's just the first time.
So we can say that we can all assume you weren't surprised.
I was pretty pissed because I already had told him this is like my 5th visit with this doctor. This is the same one that wanted me to get all my immunizations from up to date from 1968.
Yeah. So Donna was having a visual when you were talking, and it was you telling him why you didn't need anxiety medicine, and I could understand why he was thinking you might.
He kept saying that I panicked. Now, Mom, have you ever seen me panic when I was having an attack, or do you see everybody around me panic?
Yes, everybody around you panics.
Right. So I said, I do not panic. I'm totally under. He wouldn't listen. So
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I wanted to say one thing. If anything, I should have told him, if you can get me an anti-pissed off medicine, I'll take that.
I know a few people I'd to give to that.
Okay, I'll give you my favorite food.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. My favorite food is my apple pies. I love an apple pie.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite meal is Connie's meatloaf.
Uh-huh.
My favorite time to eat is in the evening. And my favorite place to eat is at home. Because Connie cooks pretty good. And I would like to share with you that we are leaving on a vacation, and I don't know where we're going. What I'm most grateful for today, that I got up this morning and I was standing up.
Good, good.
Very nice. Thank you, Tony.
Okay.
Who's next?
Still
Lisa.
thinking.
Who's
I'm still thinking. So I'm just going to go from the top of my head. So my favorite food is anything not vegetables, but I do have a weakness for red velvet, anything, and Hawaiian sweet rolls. My favorite meal is, I have no idea, but I do like my lasagna and my baked macaroni and cheese, which I haven't had in a very long time. And my favorite time to eat is dinner. And I do have a favorite restaurant. Y'all don't laugh. It's Sonic Drive-In, but again, I haven't had that in a very long time. What I am most grateful for today is I'm okay. My Jeep, not so much, but I'm fine. And what I would most like to share tonight is just how wonderful everything is for me. Like, if y'all remember when I first started here and now, so I'm just so grateful. My latest exciting endeavor is the red carpet came out of the red room, which was the last red thing in there because I got rid of the red furniture, and I now have some beautiful, looks like beachy wood look ceramic plank tile in there.
Nice.
It's gorgeous.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. And I'm grateful you're okay too.
Yes, praise the Lord.
Thank you.
Dorothy, you want to go next?
My favorite food, of course, is chocolate. I don't even know that I have a favorite meal. I do like sweet and sour chicken, and I do have a recipe that I use. I use Splenda in it. My favorite time to eat is anytime.
Yes.
I actually eat in the front room in front of the television. What I would most like to share tonight is I don't really have anything special going on, so I don't know what to share. But what I'm most grateful for is friendship. I think having friends.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Marcia.
Okay. One of my favorite foods is the cheesecake with the graham cracker crust. I absolutely love that, and also chocolate pudding pie with the graham cracker crust. I love
Yum.
I
And
forgot
like,
my butterscotch pie. I like that.
and butterscotch, anything, any stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my favorite time to eat like Dorothy is anytime. Anytime. I'm not particular. What I'm most grateful for today is that we all got through this horrible hurricane, pretty much unscathed. And I just feel terrible for all the people who didn't get through it. That's devastated.
I know. It's sad.
It is. It is.
I did?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's all of us, right?
Yeah, except for Poppy, your head is like a little bitty spot in the bottom of the screen. All I can see is the stuff behind you.
There you
That
go.
was
So,
good.
There we go.
so I'm going to stop sharing because I wanted us to be able to see each other. And why I did those for the questions today is in one of the books that I'm reading, actually part of the material tonight we're covering is from that same book. But he said that when people talk about the food that they love, but they literally can't help themselves. They feel good. They smile.
You didn't stop recording if you wanted to. It's still recording.
No, it's okay. I do want to record.
Okay.
This is for everybody.
Okay.
So, he said that if you'll watch people when they talk about the food that they love, that they are very animated. It makes them feel really good. They get happy. They were frowning before they started talking about their favorite food. They'll be smiling when they talk about their favorite food. And he said, that's what we're up against. That's what we're up against because it makes us feel so good. That's why it's so hard not to eat it. And I wanted you guys to have that experience because I could just hear the truth in that. It makes us happy.
It does.
And
Yeah.
you have to read a book to know that?
Well, I did. I really did. I really did. I really did.
So I have to add in here that, did you notice when I was talking about my favorite food, I said haven't had.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have a gallstone according to an MRI, and I was talking to my doctor yesterday, and he said, well, we're not going to do anything about that until you get symptomatic. And I'm like, really? What symptoms? And he said, well, if you eat a cheeseburger, or if you he listed several things. If you eat this, and it makes you sick, then we would have to do something. And everything he mentioned, I'm like, well, I don't eat that, and I don't eat that, and I don't eat that. So I guess I won't be symptomatic for a while.
Isn't that wonderful that you
I thought that was pretty cool. Yes.
you can control your symptoms. Also, Lisa, when Marsha was talking about her cheesecake, you were like, I mean, I just needed to experience this for myself tonight, and I 100% on the mark. Now we're going to go back to did y'all have fun doing that?
Yeah.
I did. I had fun doing that. So tonight what we're going to do is continue with what we've been talking on. And why is that off that page? That needs to be over here.
Hey, Lisa, do a liver cleanse. That'll help you with your gallbladder.
Oh, okay.
A what?
I'm working.
Liver cleanse.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a cyst on my liver too, so I'll have to private message you about that.
Okay.
So simple carbs versus complex carbs. And where we left off in our last part was like the little character, Lisa. See him?
Yes.
So
I see him.
where we left off last time is we were going to start talking about insulin and diabetes. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like us to all interact here And Dorothy, I'm going to do this first one, and then there's a chart that follows this, and I think you would explain that chart better than I could, but if not, we'll do it together. So the glycemic index, and Dorothy has covered this, she knows this frontwards and backwards. That's why I expect a lot of interaction in this tonight. To determine the glycemic index of a food, the way they go about it is they have a person fast for 24 hours. Then they eat a piece of bread. They draw blood, and that blood sugar from that one piece of bread comes out to be 100. And a simple carb has 2 molecules, where a complex carb has many molecules. So how quickly the carb converts to sugar and raises your blood level, that's what your glycemic index is. Do you want to add anything to that, Dorothy?
No, that's
I mean, I love that. I am always wishing, I'll get to you, Don. I'm always wishing that I understood what you go through, what Marsha goes through. Martha as Martha and Dick, and then Marsha Novita has mentioned to me that she's pre-diabetic, right?
Yeah.
That's where. So, and I've never had to learn any of this information for myself, but I've wanted to know because it's all around me, and so that's why this is happening tonight, so I can learn. And so with this chart, Dorothy did a whole Zoom on the glycemic index once, didn't you, Dorothy? No.
well, we covered part of it, yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a chapter. You did a chapter. So why is it important? Can you tell them why it's important, Dorothy, right here?
Well, you want to be able to keep your sugar level as level as possible. You don't want to eat the stuff that makes it go up and down. Because when you eat high GI foods, then your blood sugar will drop low, and you'll be hungry again, and then you'll eat again, and it'll go up and down and up and down. And what you want to do is you want to stay as level as possible.
So it's a matter of how quick it raises your blood sugar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I got input there.
Oh, go ahead, Don. I meant to call on you. Thank you for overlooking my forgetful.
Dr. Oz today, while I was at the doctor's office, did a simple test. You take an unsalted saltine cracker, you break it in half, you set a timer for 30 seconds, you put the whole half into your mouth, and you chew it and you let it dissolve, and you notate when that cracker tastes sweet. If you're at 1 to 15 seconds, your body doesn't metabolize that type of carbohydrate slow enough. If it's from 15 to 30 seconds or more, you're lucky you can eat that kind of carb, and it's not going to have the same effect on your glycemic index as those who take it and taste it from 1 to 15 seconds. They taste sugar in the breaking down of just a simple cracker in your mouth.
So you're saying it's not just actually the food that determines the glycemic index. It varies from person to person?
Well, glycemic index is an actual testing of it, but this is a simple way to know whether or not you should stay away from it, because everybody's body metabolizes simple carbs and complex carbs differently.
That's very interesting, Don. Don, you want to go ahead and read this?
Complex carbs are released slowly, gives you energy over time. Fiber slows down the conversion of sugar. If you take a handful of Cheerios raw, cut out of the box, just popping them in, it's about 100 on the GI. Add milk, the GI drops to 86. Why? The presence of protein in the milk slows down the conversion of the carbs. Every time you have a carb, combine it with protein.
Go ahead.
Which is, I also add protein powder when I have it to my steel cut oats. I add a little bit of protein to it in the morning when I make my oatmeal. When carbs convert to sugar in the body, it's called glucose. Glucose is transported through the system by insulin. Glucose is in the blood, excessive blood glucose. You can see it fills up. It fills up, and it is kind of like affects your blood pressure and the vein. That's part of why you, if you're diabetic, you normally are hypertensive also.
I can add something to that because my husband took a diabetes class, diabetes education class, and while we were there, they had a bag of blood that showed how much thicker your blood is when you're diabetic as compared to when you're not. And that thickening of that blood is why people have problems with their extremities, like their feet, because the blood is actually thicker.
Yeah, it's harder on the heart to pump it through the body. So in the naturopathic world, we tell you to take a drop of clove oil in a capsule or under your tongue every other day. That helps thin the blood out.
So glucose is then stored in your cells in the form of glycogen. So we said sugar goes into, carbs turn into sugars that turn into glucose that then turn into glycogen. Okay. So insulin comes from the pancreas. The pancreas is saying, give me some sugar. So this is quite the little play that goes on in your body. You eat the carb, it converts to sugar, then glucose. Insulin is the little soldier that transports the sugar molecules into the bloodstream. Insulin deposits it into the cell like a muscle tissue, and here's what happens. You have 3 gas tanks. Do you like them? 2 little gas tanks and 1 big gas tank. Would anyone guess what the 3 gas tanks are, what they symbolize? Okay, we'll move on. So, slightly underripe bananas with green sections remaining have been calculated at 42 on the glycemic index. Ripe bananas like 48. The glycemic index on the blueberries around 40. Strawberries, this one should be strawberries, and it was around 42. And the granolas are really high sugar. Usually, you have to be very careful when you're getting granolas. But would you call this a healthy breakfast?
Yeah.
Everybody agree?
No, not really.
I don't eat granola, so you know.
I
No,
don't because
we're not talking about you eating it. We're asking because it does look like a healthy breakfast. I'm wanting to see who thinks that. I'm not seeing who will eat it. I want to see who thinks this is a healthy breakfast.
I do not.
Anybody else?
It's a lot of fruit. Yeah.
Looks like a lot of food to me. I don't want it.
I don't know if it's healthy or not. I mean.
Okay. Dorothy, could this meal be healthier? What, you're the one with the big rule about the protein.
Yeah, I wouldn't use granola at all.
So this really is sugar right here. Everything there is sugar. The granola is sugar, the fruit is sugar, blueberries, bananas, strawberry, everything there is sugar. Now, if they put some milk on it, they'll get the protein. Remember what they said? But this is where I wanted to remind everybody about a real simple rule that you can follow that I really loved it when I learned it a long time ago with Take Shape for Life. And that's when you eat a carb, eat a protein. And that's the way that this could get healthier. Right, Dorothy?
Lemon or yogurt?
Say again?
Lemon or yogurt. Lemon is better than yogurt, but most people don't know what it is or like it. So.
Or just milk.
Okay, so we eat the bowl of granola with the fruit in it. And so here comes insulin. He picks up the sugar molecule and he says, let's go. Lisa, you want to do the next one? Is she there? We lost Lisa. Dorothy, you want to do this one?
Okay? It
Oh,
stops.
there she is. She got back. Good.
You want me to read it or not?
Yeah, you go ahead, and then I'll put Lisa on another one.
It stops off at the first little tank. You know that first little tank, your skeletal muscle? People usually say, I have a lot of muscle. That's a big tank. No, it is not. It is a small tank. Insulin knocks on your door of the muscle tissue and says, I'm here with sugar. I'm ready to deposit into the cells of your muscle tissue. Muscle tissue recognizes insulin as the gatekeeper. Insulin deposits the sugar in your muscle tissue. Now it's in the form of glycogen energy so that you can perform activity.
Go ahead, Dorothy.
What happens if insulin gets there and there is no vacancy sign is out? It says, hey, I'm full, can't take it. No vacancy, no problem.
You want to add any thought to that?
No.
Okay. Pretty, isn't that cute how they do it? Okay. Go ahead, Lisa.
Insulin goes to the second tank and knocks on the door. It's the liver. Insulin says, hey, you need sugar? The liver says, yeah, I'll take some sugar, or I don't need sugar. If it says, no, I'm full, insulin goes to tank number 3. Do you want to guess what tank number 3 is?
Pancreas.
No. Okay. What do you got?
Okay.
Go ahead, Marcia.
Your fat storage.
That's the
Fat
big
storage
thing.
says, come on, bring it on and I will take it. Give me the sugar. We always have room for more.
Yeah, it's endless supply where they store the fat. So sugar is the primary reason in America for gaining so much weight. When we are eating excessive sugar, more than our bodies can handle, let's face it, we only have to fill 2 small tanks. The rest is going for fat deposits. Don't yo-yo your insulin levels and keep your insulin levels stable. Have you heard the term insulin resistant? What happens is you have this overabundance of insulin flowing around in your body stream, your bloodstream all the time. The cells stop recognizing insulin as the gatekeeper because it is there all the time. So now you are becoming insulin resistant. Then what happens? You become a type 2 diabetic. So it's a process. Go ahead, Don.
One of the things I wanted to say about fat cells is we're born with a specific number of fat cells. The only time we lose fat cells is if we cut or someone has liposuction. So a fat cell, then when it comes to door, it can get as large as it wants. We don't get more of them, but it can grow and grow and grow. And that's how we get like those big lumps of cellulite and fat on our body, because we have a specific number of fat cells from birth to death, but those fat cells can expand to whatever size if we keep giving it over and over again. And that's how that tank can get so big, because fat cells don't have a shut off that we're full. They never will. They can grow and grow and grow and grow and grow until you die.
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
I heard something very interesting years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That people who have injuries and they take skin or stuff from the stomach and they put it elsewhere on the body, that those fat cells on other places of the body actually will get puffy and contain more fat than the normal cells. So maybe that's why we get fatter around the middle, because there's more fat cells there than on other spots of our body.
Well, Tony and I have heard, that's interesting, but Tony and I have heard also that when somebody has their fat is primarily in their stomach area, you see that's where it shows up when they gain weight, that's attributed to sugar. And I have noticed with people on the program that one of the first places when they're doing the Manifest program that they lose weight is out of the stomach. And beer, it's pure sugar. Alcohol is pure sugar. And so that is. And then the other thing we talked about glucose in this. I learned from a gentleman here who's suffering with cancer that when they are testing the body for cancer, they feed it glucose because the cancer feeds on glucose. So when you have cancer and you're still consuming high amounts of sugar, you're just making that cancer grow.
They do a PET scan, and in that PET scan,
Yeah.
they're putting a particular kind of sugar in the body.
Yeah.
And that where that is concentrated is usually cancer.
Yeah. So that's interesting in itself. So starting back to the beginning when we talked about food and how much we loved it, and then learning that we're eating more than we need. Don't we get to make a choice? I mean, did you understand it that clearly before we covered this tonight?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what, that was it. I just thought that was, I mean, that's beneficial to me. It matters to me. It changes. Once you change what you think, you change what you do. So my thought is, and by going through all these things about cortisol and what's the other one, ghrelin and leptin and insulin, all of these things are designed to work perfect. And it's because of choices we make that the body's constantly having to compensate for us.
I think that they've come a long way in informing us of on reading labels. And
absolutely.
And I mean, for example, one thing that, for a diabetic, it's kind of important that when they tell you how many carbs it is, they also tell you how much fiber is in it. So in order to know how many actual calories, you would subtract the fiber from the calories.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about the fiber too, but he started off, it's nothing I can convey to you, but I can just read it to you because it was impactful to me. And it was about people waiting, He said, he's talking about that he talks to someone about changing the way they eat and they move and they sleep and all of this, and the guy said, sounds good, not ready to do it, I'm ready to give up my martinis, I'm just not ready, he says. And then in about 6 months he gets a call from the guy, and the guy says he's ready, he wants to do the program, and this guy is a physical trainer. And he says, well, let me ask you, what's changed? Why now? And he said, well, I just got out of the hospital. Oh. And the guy says, stroke. He said, I didn't need to ask him. I knew what it was going to be. It was going to be a stroke. And he had a stroke. And he says, I just wanted to say, why did you let it go this far? Why did you wait for the stroke? Why did you wait till you had diabetes? It's human nature. Nothing is really wrong with us. We feel fine. We get busy. We eat. We just take our health for granted. We are supposed to be healthy, right? We deserve it. It's our privilege. That's not true. The one thing that's true of sick people, they want their life back. They want to take care of their health. What they want more than anything is to be well. And so the question is why do we want? And it's because of human nature. Before to that point, I mean, I think that's why all of us are here, actually.
Well,
that speaks to Dorothy's Tony Robbins moment when she says people do, the pleasure and the pain, the motivation.
Exactly.
So that's quite a good example of that. He didn't want to give up the pleasure of his martinis until he had the pain of a stroke.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. It's just like in our program is we instill in people to get their goal in place, because there is pain involved in not being able to eat what you want unless you have that goal in mind, because then it becomes the pleasure of whatever the outcome is, wanting to be around when your grandchildren graduate, or being able to climb a hill, or being able to be in a part of the race. Then you're willing to give that up, because that's not as pleasurable as being healthy. And that's how our program is built, is you can give up that piece of whatever it is if you think in terms of the pleasure that you're going to get.
Sure.
Dawn, go ahead.
No, that was from before I lowered it.
Oh, okay. The thing I remember about me is that I never really saw it as being a problem. I mean, I used to say, how can I eat all this stuff? People have diabetes. I wonder what it is. I wonder why I don't get it. Now, how stupid is that of somebody as smart as me? And the thing that actually made me want to fix that problem was that I really worried that I was going to be independent. I'd be dependent on someone, and you know, my health was failing little by little. I wasn't able to do this as good as something else, and I wasn't able to do that as good as something else. And I remember saying to myself, how long are you going to let this go on? How long are you going to let this go on? So it's not as simple as just saying. And the thing that triggered for me was seeing it done by somebody else and knowing it was possible. I don't think until that point I knew it was possible, but when I saw Mary do it, then I knew it was possible. Then it could only be my shortcomings. And so I had to answer that question for good. And I was capable of doing it, and I'm still doing that. I never quit again. And what got me where I was at is the fact I gave up and wasn't taking care of it for so long that now I have to find my way back. Yeah. And that is it. And then we go back to us when we was talking about our favorite foods that we liked. Everybody had a good time? Yeah? So I'll say it again. That's what we're up against. All right, I'm going to stop this. Do you guys want to do one little
happiness lesson?